Yes. Hey, hey. What up, what up, what up? It is Go Long Live. I am your host, Barry Long, the second, not the first, not the third. I am the second. Don't forget that. We are going to be joined by Mo Murphy here shortly. Hopefully, we'll be joined by Sage Alvarez later on. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, live on today'scalifornia.com, live on today'scanada.com. We have a bunch to talk about today in the sports world. Of course, we know we've all heard that Aaron Rodgers has tested positive for COVID, so he will not be able to be in that matchup against the Chiefs that we were all so desperate to watch. Wanted to see, Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes go head to head, but seems like we won't get that. Also, we're going to talk about Odell Beckham Jr. There's a lot of crazy stuff coming out of Cleveland right now. Odell Beckham Sr. got a lot to say. I know some of y'all never even thought about there might be an Odell Beckham Sr. because all you think about is OBJ, but if there's a junior, there's a senior somewhere. But senior had a lot to say. So we'll talk about what he had to say. LBJ had a lot to say about OBJ. So we'll talk about that. We will also talk about some of these injuries that we've seen in the NFL this past week. And we will also talk about some of the acquisitions that have been made as far as getting, trading some people and getting rid of some people. So without any further ado, let me bring in my main man, Mo Murphy. What's going on, Mo?
Yo, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
A little under the weather, all good though.
Okay.
A little under the weather.
Well, shout out to you. Shout out to you for powering through, man. Because
Yes,
the people want to hear what Mo Murphy has to say about everything. So now Mo, let's just jump right into this whole Odell Beckham Jr. thing, okay? Because we come out and we've seen this season Odell Beckham Jr. obviously hasn't been making a splash with the Browns. He's been injury prone. Much of his career. He's been considered a diva on the sidelines. And this is one thing that I do not like about the whole diva wide receiver thing is because a lot of these guys get bad reputations for being a diva, for wanting the ball, for wanting to be on a good team, for wanting, for highlighting when they were open, when they weren't. I mean, when they were open, when they weren't throwing the ball. And then a lot of times fans start looking at these guys like they're criminals, like they've done something wrong in the past. Keyshawn Johnson was the guy that got treated like that by the media. Chad Ochocinco got treated like that by the media. T.O. and Odell Beckham Jr. And none of these guys have ever been arrested, have ever been in trouble with the law. Simply all they are just guys on the sideline who are making a big scene or guys who just want the damn ball, as they put it. Now, we saw what happened with Odell Beckham Jr. in New York, how that transpired. He comes to Cleveland, doesn't really work out with Baker Mayfield, and this season alone, he has no touchdowns at all, and he's getting frustrated on the sidelines. And we've seen that his dad, Odell Beckham Sr., just came out and posted a video highlighting, kind of like on ESPN when you put the circle around the guy, highlighting when he was open, when he didn't get the ball, and then we saw LeBron James come out and say #FreeOBJ. So basically, people are thinking that he's getting his dad and LeBron James to do his dirty work. He wants out of Cleveland. What do you say Cleveland should do with Odell Beckham Jr.?
Free Odell Beckham, bro. Let him out. First off, bro, when you think about it, OBJ never really wanted to be in Cleveland. The only bright side he looked at being in Cleveland was the fact that his brother Jarvis Landry was there. Yeah. And I say brother because they was click tight, went to LSU together, made a lot of magic happen at LSU together. But that was the only bright side of him going to Cleveland. He never wanted to be there in the first place. It wasn't about the quarterback. It was just about playing for basically a piss poor franchise. And you even kind of see why they bottom of the barrel now. Like, let Odell Beckham go. You didn't excuse him from practice 2 days in a row.
2 days in a row.
I doubt he plays. Like, I'm sure he doesn't show up to walk through on Friday or Saturday. I doubt he plays Sunday. So then, like, what are you doing? Like, basically, essentially, I mean, and it's the power of the organization to do it. So essentially, they're like, all right, like, you ain't got to play the rest of the year, but you ain't going to play on somebody else's team. You going to stay here in Cleveland, and we'll excuse you for the rest of the year. We'll pay you, but you ain't finna go nowhere and win this year. Like, you ain't finna not clear waivers or whatever and then get to decide where you want to go and end up in LA or Tampa or, Green Bay. And so I get it on the organization side too. So, but it's still like one of those, if you're going to excuse him for practice, he was ready to practice. Like, whatever his dad did, that's what his dad did. I mean, whether we can speculate and say that oh, Odell signed off on that, but we don't know that. Like we don't know that. We can assume all we want. Or we've also seen upset parents. Let's just be honest. We've seen upset parents that take their kid's career into their own hands and decide to speak on something, and it threw the kid off guard. That's all I'm saying. So, but like, bro, let
So
Odell.
you don't think that Odell Beckham Jr. had any
I don't know.
influence on that?
Know.
What about LeBron? What about LeBron?
No, I definitely don't think he had any influence on that. Bro, I've tweeted myself, free Odell until he's free. I tweeted this a week ago. I've tweeted this multiple weeks ago. I've said this on multiple times. So I'm not saying that I started it. We, as a Twitterverse, as guys who have been covering sports, we have been saying this. We have been saying Odell needs to go. The more the trade deadline talk, it started amping up about a couple weeks ago when we started bringing up Deshaun Watson. We start bringing up all these other possible trades. Who's unhappy? 2 to 3 weeks. And it's free Odell. It's been that way. LeBron saying it was just another guy, but because it's LeBron James,
it has more weight.
Friends, like, oh, he must have hit up, hey, Bron. Hey, go say, no, bro, he ain't do that.
I'll give you that. LeBron probably just because of the being LeBron.
Saw it on Twitter and he saw everybody else saying it, and LeBron like, you know what? I'm saying it too. Yeah, free my dog Odell. Get him up out of Cleveland, bro. Odell ain't have nothing to do with LeBron. I don't know. I can't say nobody that's not in Odell's camp can tell me for sure that he was in on what his dad did. So everybody can speculate. One can assume Senior was sticking up for Junior. Junior must have told him to do it. For all we know, bro, he made that video while Odell was asleep. That's all I'm saying.
All I know is that it buried on the first. It buried on the first. If my dad ever put out some video like that, and it was
but he
regarding my employer, then and I had nothing to do with it, I would call him immediately and say, "Dad, what the hell are you doing?" And then I would probably have to go out publicly and back away from those comments. We haven't said Odell do any of that. So,
but we know Odell doesn't want to be there. So, like, even if his dad spoke on that, like, that doesn't mean Odell. I'm not saying Odell doesn't agree. Isn't sitting there like, yeah, pops, let him know. But
he's not behind it. He's not behind the scenes like, yeah, Dad, release the information.
I don't know if he put him up to it. But to say that he doesn't agree, okay, like, I'm sure, Odell sees it like he's an emotional dude. And we've seen him throw his fits on the sideline, but it's justifiable. Like,
it is.
That man looks miserable. And let's just be honest here. A talent like Odell Beckham, like, we go to some of the top receivers in the NFL, they all got a good quarterback. Just think about it. Name me a bad receiver, or name me a top receiver with a bad quarterback. Baker, terrible. Eli Manning at the time that he got Eli Manning, terrible. Like, let's just
Daniel Jones. He had Daniel Jones too, man. Like,
terrible. Like, bro, it's terrible.
I feel bad for that.
Devontae got Aaron Rodgers. Like, bro, all these top receivers, you know what I'm saying? Bro, think about it. We don't know for sure, but even Michael Thomas did some suspect things when he realized Drew Brees wasn't going to be throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
And Taysom Hill might be throwing me the ball. I don't know.
He ain't showed up. He was going to show up until Jameis Winston got hurt, and then all of a sudden he can't show up.
Yeah, I still think I'm gonna be honest, because I had the same exact ankle surgery, and I had to have the second surgery a year later. So that's what the same surgery he had is the same surgery I'm bouncing back from.
Mo Murphy, how many surgeries have you had, brother?
But that surgery, the tightrope surgery, whatever, because to help the fracture. Like, I had that same injury and had that same surgery. So, like, bro, there can be complications. So it is all timing based, but I will say, based off the experience of actually having that surgery, there could have been some setbacks prior to him going, and one wrong move set you back 2 to 3 weeks. Like, that is possible. You move wrong, that's another 3 weeks, because you find out in recovery your body wasn't ready for that. Like, but you don't find out until you find out. So
yeah. All right, so we got Odell Beckham Jr. looking sad, looking like he just lost his dog on the sideline, but it's very justifiable. I was able to pull this up and find this on Twitter that Baker Mayfield's passer rating when he targets each of his guys, and Donovan Peoples-Jones, which in my opinion is the best last name in all of sports right now, 151.4. Kareem Hunt, he's averaging a better passer rating to everybody, literally everybody except Odell Beckham Jr. And whether or not that's because he's forcing the ball in there, or whether or not that's because he's just not looking his way, or whether or not he's doing it on purpose and just throwing them bad balls, Who knows? But what we do know is that Baker Mayfield did come out to the podium, was asked about this whole situation. He said, they asked him if he was hurt, and he said, hurt? No. He said, a little surprised, but hurt? No. And we know Baker's got his whole moxie. He's a little bit cocky, a lot of bit cocky, and this is not going to go over well with him. The whole situation going over there, but I really feel like it is done for Odell Beckham Jr. in Cleveland, just like everybody else. And what I think is that we need to start looking at what teams he's going to be on in the future. And there are a few teams out there that need receivers or that need an offensive weapon like immediately. And you're looking at a team like New Orleans. You're looking at a team like the Raiders, who just lost Henry Ruggs. You're looking at a lot of different teams. Who do you think Odell Beckham should be playing for next season?
Man, it just depends. If the Browns wait till the offseason to cut him, then it leaves it all up to Odell Beckham Jr. And so where he should want to go is he should pay attention. If Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers stay in Green Bay, he should go to Green Bay. If they end up going to Denver, he should go to Denver.
That's where I think they're going.
Slide together to the Raiders, he should go to the Raiders. Like, I think his first thing should be, it seems like no matter what decision is made, Rodgers and Adams are going together. I think Odell Beckham should follow along. I don't care whether it's Denver, Vegas. I don't really care. I don't care if it's San Francisco. I just think he should go. But if you talk about teams that should look to trade for him, I mean, man, I think the Rams will be in on him.
And the Rams will do it because they'll trade for anybody.
I think they'll be in on them to have that going into next year, especially, I mean, if they win the Super Bowl, they might be trying to run it back. Don't got no real draft picks, so they can use whatever draft picks they got left to get Odell. I think San Francisco would be in on them. I think Vegas will be in on them, especially, I think they'd be in on them regardless, but Vegas will be in on them in a trade. Who else? I mean, we'll see a lot more suitors once it's realistically possible, but I think those West Coast teams will be looking at him. Chargers could possibly think about it, like Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, OBJ will go right spot. With a young cat like Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler in the backfield. Like, there's so many teams that really could use Odell Beckham, but if he has the choice, I'm paying. What is Rodgers and Adams doing? Yeah. And like wherever they going, hey, bring me along. Like we gonna be a tandem, and we gonna slide together. And if they stay in Green Bay, then Odell go to Green Bay.
It's time for him to get a good quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, so if he had Aaron Rodgers, oh my goodness, and
he's robbed himself his whole career by doing that. Like by staying in New York, and then he got traded, and he went to Baker Mayfield, and everybody hoped Baker Mayfield would be this guy, and then you see literally everybody else around him becoming that guy. I don't think he should go to Baltimore.
Hell no. I mean, I'm a Ravens fan, and I believe that that's wide receiver purgatory. Because we all know exactly what Lamar Jackson is, and he does.
And I think everybody say we know what Lamar Jackson is, but I think, like, here's the thing. It would be an experiment. And do you want to be the experiment? Because Lamar has never had a receiver like Odell, first off. So we say, like, bro, Hollywood Brown has been his best target outside of Mark Andrews at tight end.
And he's not even top 10.
Odell would be a guy like, man, imagine giving Lamar Odell. But, boy, if it fails –
it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad
on Lamar Jackson. If Odell goes there with the roster looking like it looked like right now, it'd be Odell, Hollywood Brown, and Rashad Bateman next year. If he can't get Odell the ball, and Odell's healthy and playing like he's playing really well, bro, that'll be an indictment on Lamar Jackson.
But what Lamar Jackson does is Lamar Jackson likes to throw inside the numbers. He likes to throw to his tight ends. And, I mean, this is
he's a route runner. He can get inside, and he can go to where Odell's not just a deep threat. He's not Tyreek Hill. He can run short routes.
I can see Lamar Jackson and Odell Beckham screaming at the top of their lungs on the sideline, and then John Harbaugh in the middle just looking like monkey in the middle, trying to figure out what he's going to do. And this is just a terrible experiment going wrong. I think Baltimore is a destination that he could potentially end up, but I don't think he should go there. If he wants the ball and he wants to shine the way he can shine, then he needs to go somewhere where he's going to be the primary weapon. And Mark Andrews is our primary weapon. But look, today Sage Alvarez says that Mo Murphy's hat is better than Barry Long the second's hat. Well, shout out to you, Mo Murphy. That's what's up, man. But yeah, we are Go Long Live. We are right now currently discussing Odell Beckham Jr. and where he might end up. This is gonna be interesting to watch. I don't think that he'll play another snap for Cleveland. Pretty much a foregone conclusion. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And hopefully they don't try to keep him on the shelf for the rest of the season and they let him free that man. Free Odell Beckham Jr. We should start hashtagging that every single day, everybody. But now let's talk about this game that we got going on tonight. We got the Titans, or I'm sorry, we got the Colts and the Jets. And a lot of people the casual football fans saw this game on the schedule like, oh God, here we go with another boring Thursday night game. But no, this game is going to be interesting. It's going to be tight, in my opinion. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Mike White. Mike White. I'm sorry, everybody. Look, Mike White is a guy who came on the scene last week, 400 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Jets fans are clamoring for him to be the starter. But when I saw his name was Mike White, the first thought that went through my head was, that's a very basic name. And I remember this guy from Western Kentucky. But the second thought that went through my head was the actual guy named White Mike from the Wayans brothers. And then I looked him up, man. White Mike has actually passed away, man. So that's he passed away in 2008. So I'm real late on that. But yeah, but Mike White, a lot of people are thinking that he should be the starter for the Jets. The Jets haven't really had a good a franchise quarterback since Joe Namath. Like, don't sit here and tell me that Mark Sanchez was a franchise quarterback. He did get them to the AFC Championship, but it really wasn't Mark Sanchez. It was that defense, and it was Rex Ryan swagger, and it was LT that got them there. Okay, they finally got. I mean, because I was there through the Chad Pennington years, watching quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. That just was just terrible. They finally got Zach Wilson, and now you want to remove that man for a guy who didn't even throw a pass longer than 20 yards last game. How do you feel about Mike White?
Mike White might could ruin Zach Wilson's time as a New York Jet.
You think so?
I'm not saying he will. I'm saying he could. Zach Wilson, he hasn't played impressive. I mean, this has been Mike White has had, all eyes are on Mike White on Thursday night. And like I said, bro, another great game everybody will be looking like, man, it's mighty crazy. Mike White come in here and have some success in the same type of offense that Zach Wilson ain't had. Corey Davis hasn't been, bro. Corey Davis didn't play last week. Like, let's throw that into perspective too. Probably their best receiver didn't play last week. Michael Carter had a coming out game. Jamison Crowder played well. Like, a lot of guys rallied behind Mike White and his performance and had some of the best games, the best, performance of their season. I'm looking at, can they bounce back off of that? And Mike White may have multiple mistakes too. Like, let's not forget, he did throw a couple picks. So it's not like he had a flawless game where he played absolutely amazing and flawless. He had some flaws and still was able to put up big numbers and get the W. So that's something to pay attention to. The Colts defense is fairly good. The Colts
especially
are
the linebacker position. And then if you watched that game last weekend, then you saw the Bengals were playing. They were playing off coverage. They were basically giving him everything underneath. And he even said it himself that when he started the game off 11 for 11, he was like kind of surprised and kind of shocked that they didn't think that he would throw the ball at all. And that's what most defenses are when they see the backup quarterback. They never even heard of him. There's no film on him. They think, okay, all they're gonna do is just hand the ball off. Mike White stepped right in and was ready to throw the ball. But what they did was they allowed him to throw everything underneath. He didn't throw one pass over 20 yards. It was kind of the dink and dunk game. So the Colts, I don't think, are going to give him that same underneath throws, and we might have to see Mike White make some throws downfield.
He can though. Like if he can, like I'm not. Bro,
he put up some pretty good numbers in Western Kentucky.
Exactly, and anybody who really like y'all know I love college football. So but I had a homeboy that went to Western Kentucky. So like he played safety with Mike White. So I watched some of them games because my homie was on the other end on the defensive end. So like, bro, Mike White, hey, that offense was lethal. Western Kentucky was ranked at one point.
Yes,
that offense was lethal, led by Mike White. So I'm not saying I'm still surprised because it's different slinging the ball all over Western Kentucky, coming in on your debut, starting the NFL and doing it. But he's a guy and he's not Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. Like, he's not going to come on scene and be better than all of these guys. But who he can be better than is the overhyped Zach Wilson. And I'm not saying he is yet, but if he has another great game, like just think about it. We are reactive. We are in a world where people react fast. You don't have time. If you don't got it the minute they lay their eyes on you, they're already looking for your replacement. So now you're having to prove people why your replacement is being found. Jets fans are already kind of convinced, man, maybe Mike White is the better guy. We made the wrong draft pick. We move off of Zach Wilson. Maybe he got some back. People are already speaking about that. Don't let him have a huge game, win, lose, or draw. Don't let that offense look lethal again. And they come up short just because of the lack of talent. Indianapolis was able to take advantage of their defense. Mike White plays amazing, and he doesn't have to throw for 400 yards. I mean, bro, 275, 2 to 3 touchdowns, maybe 1 or 2 picks. That's still a better performance than we've been seeing from Zach Wilson. So, like, and I tweeted out when he was 11 for 11 before he threw his first pick, I said, do we have a quarterback controversy in New York? And everybody was like, no, because then he threw a pick. He threw a pick right after I tweeted that. I kid you not.
Football gods.
And I was like, uh-oh. Everybody had to make Mo Murphy look wrong. And then, boom, Mike White takes off in the last quarter and a half of football. And I'm like, quote tweet. So back to what I was saying. We have a quarterback controversy in New York. Yeah.
All right, but now look. Now there's a little bit of film out there on them. This Colts defense is they're kind of good. They're kind of good. And the Bengals defense, not to take anything away from them, because they shut down Baltimore a couple weeks ago, 41-17. But I believe the Colts defense is a little bit better. And I believe that now that there's a little bit of NFL film on them, and as we go week to week, I believe that Mike White will start to not regress, but he'll start to look more and more average. But
he's going to take a step back because he threw for 400-something yards. So he's not going to repeat. I don't expect a repeat of last week's performance. Like, that shouldn't.
But is it too early? Is it too early to pull the plug on Zach Wilson?
Yeah, it is.
It's too early.
But if he has another big game, don't think that with Zach Wilson being banged up, it's easy to, okay, we'll finish throughout the season with Mike White. We'll save our rookie. It's easy to hold that narrative. And then, boom, come off season in training camp, we got a quarterback competition. We got Mike White taking just as many first-team reps as Zach Wilson. Now we looking like, uh-oh, is this a Josh Rosen all over again? Or if they realize we suck and neither Zach Wilson or Mike White is our guy, uh-oh, Matt Corral available in the draft. Right to us, it's the number 2 or 3 pick. Like, uh-oh, we get Matt Corral. We could get Desmond Ridder in the second round if we like
Desmond Ridder.
Move off we can move off of Zach Wilson. Like, there's a lot of routes that could happen, and fans play. Everybody can say what they want. Organizations hit the fans, and they influence decisions sometimes. Look how quick Cliff Kingsbury came in there and got, bro, he didn't even give Rosen a second.
Not even a minute, not even a second. Sage, what's going on, my man? He popped up with the shades. Sage Alvarez joining us live here on Go Long Live. What's going on, Sage?
Hey, what's going on? Barry Long the second, not the first, not the third. And what's going on, Mo?
What's going on, big dog?
So we're talking right now about this whole controversy with Mike White being this potential starter for the New York Jets, and this is going to be an interesting story to keep following. But we've seen some of the greatest quarterbacks burst onto the scene because of an injury, because of the guy in front of them. Tom Brady being the most famous one. Because I remember Drew Bledsoe. Everybody had a Drew Bledsoe jersey. Drew Bledsoe was one of the most popular quarterbacks in the league at that time. He goes down, and they're like, Tom Brady. You're like, Tom who? And I wish you would compare Tom Brady to Drew Bledsoe right now. So at the end of the day, we might be looking. Mike White might be the next Tom Brady. What do you think, Sage?
Stop it.
Oh, come on, bro. What are we talking about?
I'm joking, man. I'm joking. But
come
seriously, we might end up seeing this guy. Who knows? You never know.
We could see a future starter though. Like we could see a guy who actually is gonna have a long career. Like it happens.
They treat him like Tom Brady up there in New York right now.
Of course, they ain't got nothing else. They supposed to. That's how a franchise is supposed to back a guy. Like, I don't care if Mike White had an amazing performance like that. You down in the dumps, jump on his back and love that man. You didn't love Zach Wilson, love that man. It's a poverty franchise. We gonna laugh at him, but at least there's something positive about Jets fans taking Mike White's back. That's all I'm saying. Love that man.
Now we also saw some acquisitions. That happened this past week. We saw Von Miller get acquired by the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-day draft round picks.
Second
so
and
get
third.
a second and a third. So now, do y'all like the Rams have been in on stars? I mean, they're star heavy right now, but now you add Von Miller right next to Aaron Donald. You got Jalen Ramsey on the backside of that. You got star power all over the offensive side of the ball. You got a quarterback that can really lead you. Do you think that the Rams made a good pickup by getting Von Miller? Do you think that this makes them contenders for the Super Bowl?
It makes them Super Bowl a bust. Like, that's where they put all their. If they don't win a Super Bowl with the team that they have, and granted, this is a tough year to do it because the NFC is amazing. But still, if you don't win a Super Bowl, like, okay, Von Miller's already injury prone. So now we're looking at Von Miller like, okay, but he's a luxury, not a necessity. They didn't need Von Miller, but he's a luxury. So if he is out, if he gets hurt, the Rams are still one of the top 2 to 3 teams in the NFL, let alone in the NFC. But now you add Von Miller, you put the pressure. Sean McVay needs to get their mask. You got Matt Stafford. You got Jalen Ramsey 2 years ago. You put all your chips. You have no draft picks. You ain't really got much salary cap.
No draft picks.
Keep anybody. You plan on keeping Von Miller, so you're only going to keep who you got. You got to win the Super Bowl. Like in this, but it's Super Bowl or bust this year. If they don't get it, yeah, it's kind of a bust season. But if they come back with the same roster, they have to win a Super Bowl. Like you brought Matt Stafford. You gloated about the upgrade with Jared Goff. You brought in Von Miller. You got 3 of the best defensive players when all healthy in all of football. We know what Von Miller brings to the table. So even with all that, if everything was such an upgrade, Cam Akers will come back next year. Within these you're in a 2-year Super Bowl window. If you don't win the Super Bowl, all them moves you made is bust because now when guys start leaving for free agency, you can't afford them. They become unhappy. The team ain't getting no better. Whatever the case, you have nothing to build on. The Rams have left themselves. If you win a Super Bowl, it's okay to press the restart button. Press the restart button, suck for a little bit. That's just what happens. That's what happens with teams. Not everybody's the Patriots. But if you don't win a Super Bowl, you got to press the restart button. That's just more and more years that everybody going to be looking back to when we made it to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. And now we're like rebuilding. We're never going to see that for like another 10 years. But when you win, all is forgiven. So they got to win the Super Bowl this year.
And you know what? You bring it in a guy like Von Miller. It doesn't only just say, "Hey, we're trying to bolster our defense up." It also says we're bolstering up the locker room. Von Miller has been there. He's won a championship. He knows what it takes to get there. And a lot of these guys on that team don't. Matt Stafford's never won. Jalen Ramsey's never won. Aaron Donald's never won. I mean, you can go down the list. Cooper Kupp's never won. So all these guys, they know that they have a great team. But sometimes you just take one person to add to the mix and show them how to get it done. And then when you get into a Super Bowl week and you get to a media day and you get to that, those 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl are crazy from what we've heard for guys who are going to the Super Bowl for their first time. It can be overwhelming. A lot of media coverage. And Von Miller is a guy that can help you kind of navigate that. And I feel like Sean McVay deserves to make it to the Super Bowl.
I don't know about anyone deserve. No one deserves to make. You got to earn it. I don't know about deserve.
I don't care what anybody says. My
man is hey Barry. You deserve this water because that answer, bro. You might be a little thirsty, bro.
Absolutely. I think he absolutely deserves it.
Here's the thing. I'm about to stop you with just let you know, like, why does this move now? It's Super Bowl bust. Weren't they already Super Bowl bust already?
It raises the stakes. It raises
what stakes. Like the second and third round picks they're only semi. They're a semi hit. They're a good hit.
That's where you find
at the end of the day, they are already out of first round picks since what, till 2024, 2025.
Yeah,
I mean, so it's not looking good for the draft stock. They're already win now. You give up 2 first round picks for Jalen Ramsey. You give up 2 first round picks for Matthew Stafford. I mean, at the end of the day, they've already shown that they were already Super Bowl busts. This move
increases the pressure. It increases.
I think it gives. I don't know about. I think it decreases the pressure and more gives them confidence that they are going to win it. I think because I don't know about. I think pressure is more like media built. I think like these are players. Like they're like, oh wow, we got another dog with us, or that's really going to be us in the trenches. Who's already done it? Who's already been there? He's already won it, and he had one of the most dominant performances in that moment. So it's just at the same time, Like Von Miller is just going to decrease the pressure and increase the confidence. That's all me.
I mean, you can look at it. You can look at it one or two
Second
ways.
and third, you're in win now
increase
mode.
the pressure.
You're in win now mode. If buzz happen all the time. Buzz, dealing with this, if the Raiders would have given 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey, wouldn't the Raiders be in a better position with the first-round picks that they ended up with, Buzz?
But they wouldn't be. What pressure comes from expectations, right? So coming into the season, we knew the NFC was going to be good, right? But even the moves that the Rams made, they weren't the favorite to come out the NFC. The Bucs were still the favorite. So if the pressure was for the Rams to get to the NFC Championship, everybody predicting the Rams versus the Bucs NFC Championship. They got Von Miller now. Now we're looking like, hey, this might be the best team in the NFL now. Like they were already in conversation with the Bucs, the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Bills, whoever you want to take as the best teams in the NFL on both sides. Cardinals, Packers, that was a conversation. Now, none of those other teams made any moves to get better. So you look at them however you look at them, and here come the Rams. Boom. NFC Championship. Maybe they lose to the Bucs, maybe not. They've already beat the Bucs. But now, like, this might be the best team in the NFL. So we're not even looking at them as getting to the NFC Championship. We're looking at them to really win the whole thing because now they added Von Miller with how they're playing. We expect them to win the Super Bowl. We're not expecting anything less, barring any major injury. Injury always plays a factor.
So with the Buccaneers, as good as they are, and they just returned a Super Bowl winning team, like that. That's why I'm like, I get they're in the conversation. I just don't feel like they're like a lock. They're just in the conversation. I get they're in the Super Bowl and bust conversation because of their draft picks, but they're not head over heels. Even with the Von Miller pickup, they're just like the rest of them. It's going to come down to those real gutsy performances in the fourth quarter, third quarter, even early on, who could take advantage and just take over the game early on and just keep the foot on the gas pedal. We've seen times where teams let up in the second half, and usually it's against Brady.
So look, honestly, when you look at the NFC, I mean, you're especially in the NFC West, just that division alone, they were gonna, have some issues coming out of there. But then they made their team better, and the Cardinals didn't go out and make any moves like Mo Murphy said. And then on top of that, they lost J.J. Watt for the season. And then so you looking at the Rams are starting to elevate in their pressure of, hey, it's win now. And I do believe that Sean McVay deserves a Super Bowl because at the end of the day, look, let me finish. Let me make my point.
I'm gonna let you.
Sean McVay busts onto the scene, and now all of a sudden, everybody who knows Sean McVay is getting a job left and right. Cliff Kingsbury, Matt LaFleur, they want a young, handsome guy who's an innovative, coordinator like Sean McVay. He is responsible for like a third of the guys who got jobs as NFL head coaches right now. So and the way that he was out coached by Bill Belichick in that Super Bowl.
I'm going to give you a participation trophy for that speech right there, bro.
I'm going to give you a participation trophy for those sunglasses, bro.
I'll tell you, you would have convinced.
I'm staged up, bro.
Staged up, bro.
But you would have convinced anybody who doesn't love football and know football the way I do, but I'm with Sage. Yeah. I get where you coming from, and I'm okay with you coming from there. Just to say, you just want to see Sean McVay win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he don't deserve it. He deserves it.
You just said he deserved it.
I'd be happy for. All right, that was
you just said he deserved it.
That was a wrong.
He used the wrong term.
Word. I'd be happy for him.
It's like,
all right, I like that.
It's like
we're learning.
I think Dak deserves. I'd love to see Dak win a Super Bowl. First off, I'm a Cowboys fan, but like that comeback kind of guy. I would have loved to see if it wasn't the Cowboys. I would have loved to see Jameis win a Super Bowl for the same thing. Like I like the underdog guys. I like the all odds against them. Like people are counting out Sean McVay because he folded in the Super Bowl and got out coached by the greatest coach of all time. But we'll knock him for that. But with carrying Jared Goff to the Super Bowl with that defense and
oh gosh,
early, that's another thing. But Sean McVay it's now his time though. Like you said, he put all those people on. So now one of those guys got to win the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan didn't do it because the old school cats is still winning Super Bowls. Andy Reid, Bruce Arians. Like we haven't seen, we've seen young guys there, but we haven't seen young guys win. And I think, like I said, adding Von Miller increases the pressure only because we look at the Rams even higher than we already did. That's where pressure come from. I don't think Matt Stafford and them really care what the media say, but they do know in the back of their mind, like, we got Von Miller. It's go time. Like now, we already felt like we could win the Super Bowl, but now it's a wrap for the league. I'm sure they got that confident mindset. Which therefore means if you're thinking like that, if you don't achieve that, you fail.
All right, so real quick, we don't have much time on Go Long Live. I am Barry on the second. I got Mo Murphy and Sage Alvarez joining me. And now, Sage, I really wanted to ask you your thoughts about the Henry Ruggs because we didn't have you on the show yesterday. The Henry Ruggs situation, we know that he's been released by the Raiders. We know that he's facing some very serious charges, DUI resulting in death. We know, we learned today about who the victim was and just a tragic situation. So what I wanted to ask you was, first of all, your thoughts on the Henry Ruggs situation. And second of all, with all the adversity that the Raiders have faced this season, and with how well Derek Carr has played this season, and we saw his brother come out and say that his brother probably will be the MVP and probably the most valuable MVP ever in the history of the league when they make it to the Super Bowl, which is a little bit preposterous. But
that was a laughable moment.
That was
a laughable moment, though.
Do you go out? This question is a lot to unpack, but with all that being said, your thoughts on the Henry Ruggs. But do you go out and do you replace a Henry Ruggs with another home run hitter like a Deshaun Jackson, or do you just
you said a home run hitter? We're talking about Deshaun Jackson like 5 years ago.
Home run. Hey, he hit a home run He hit one this year, bro.
Yeah, he hit one this year. He still got
one this year, bro. He was on the Rams.
He was on the Rams.
Yeah, he's on the Rams. Look who else is on the Rams. Come on now, fellas.
Well, do you go out and replace him with anybody? Do you go out and replace him with Odell Beckham?
If he was still Deshaun Jackson, you think the Rams would let him go? You think I would let a Deshaun Jackson go 5 years, 6 years ago? I would literally be on my. I'd be begging him not to leave. Like, they let him. Like, look, just you can go, bro. We have Cooper Kupp. Like we have Woods. We even have Van Jefferson right there, bro. We don't.
So how do you feel about the Rugs? And would you replace
so on the Rugs, bro? Let's give condolences to the family that just lost a loved one. It's devastating. It's a very it was reckless on Ruggs' part. I'm not gonna beat him down because he's probably gonna serve time. Just based off all the evidence that we've already seen.
Probably 156 miles per hour, man.
Yeah, he's going to serve time. But I'm really not. I'm not here to like I'm not like the rest of them. I'm not gonna just throw dirt on this guy. Like everyone makes mistakes and he's gonna pay for it. And I feel for his family. That I really feel for I feel more for the girl that they just lost someone. And it happens too much, too often. It's probably why we're trying to get these self-driving cars off the foot because and here's the other thing about the situation. He could have called Uber. NFL has NFL black cars ready to always come in and get them a ride at any time they would need. Yeah. This is reckless. You're going 156 in a neighborhood. Going 156 in a highway is pretty reckless. And to be going in a neighborhood that fast, it's just really sad.
All right, so now let's talk about the football side of it. Do you go out and do you replace a Henry Ruggs? Can you replace a Henry Ruggs? And
there's no. This is free agency right now. There's no one in the free agency even close to good like that. I would have thought the Raiders would have made a more effort to probably get themselves in the Odell conversation. But I think what ended up happening was through the Saints' interest that their price on Odell was still really high. So they weren't going to get rid of him unless it was a high price. So I'm confused how they played it because now they obviously played their part. I think it's too planned. I think that they're all their likes and all the shenanigans that his dad was involved with in the video. I think that it's too calculated. Odell's playing a part in this. They're getting themselves out of Cleveland, and I don't think that this is the way to go. I think that this is the way they think is the way to go, and I don't agree with that. I think for the football side for the Raiders, devastating for not to have Ruggs. I don't know who I guess you're not gonna replace him, but you got Zay Jones. Maybe kind of fills in more of a more prominent role now. Edwards, but really the chess match is gonna get a little bit difficult for the Raiders without having that Henry Ruggs because now more pressure's on Waller than ever before. And there were some times where when Waller was still getting that double triple coverage, Derek Carr has to force it and give him that chance. So maybe it's more interceptions on Carr and it might look bad, might be perceived, but realistically, now that Derek Carr doesn't have that stretch of the field change of
home
pace,
run hitter.
that home run hitter that gives them that chance to free up Waller and lets them have like a more honest defense instead of just really game planning all out on him. And because then, like I said, if you all out on him, you gave Ruggs that home run ball, and I still think it's going to be there. Zay Jones made some plays. Zay Jones made some DPR. It's going to be more. He's got to step up. He's been in the system. You don't bring in a receiver into the system right now because it's really difficult to learn. They don't have Groot in there, but yeah.
Okay, for sure, man, for sure. All right, so real quick, fellas, who y'all got for who you got tonight, Mo? You got the Colts or you got the Jets?
I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna take the Colts.
You're not gonna go Mike White? White Mike?
No, I'm play it safe. I'm gonna go with the Colts. I'm not gonna buy into the hype. It ain't my team.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz redeems himself.
What about you? What about you, Sage?
Man, I'm definitely going with the Jets. Like,
wow.
Because you know why? This guy got me a fantasy football win out of nowhere, bro. I had both. I had Derek Carr on a bye, and I had Dak Prescott on an injury. I had to get his backup in, and then this guy put up a 34 point performance for me. I'm going with the Jets. They got me saged up on my fantasy football.
He's going with Mike White. So shout out to the Jets and all the fans of the Jets. Shout out to the Colts and all the fans of the Colts. Coach Carl, shout out to him too. I'm going Colts, man. Just I feel like Carson Wentz is gonna have to bounce back, and I feel like that defense is gonna really force Mike White to make some throws downfield, and his weapons are not where they need to be. All right, so tomorrow we got Fed Up Friday, fellas. We will talk about this game. I'm sure we'll have some more Odell Beckham Jr. news. I'm sure we'll have some more controversy bubbling around Ben Simmons. So we'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Enjoy y'all night of Thursday Night Football. And real quick, let them know where they can find you at, Sage.
Y'all can find me at Twitter at SageDup. And you can find me on Instagram at SageDup. And you can find me on Facebook at Sage Alvarez. I'll add you as a friend.
All right, Mo, where can they find you at, boss?
Yeah, you can follow me at Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter, Instagram, and at Up in Flames Pod, Twitter, Instagram. And like always make sure you check out Dash Radio on Monday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can find me at IG at BarryLong_2 and Twitter at Radio Barry Long. And we are here every Monday through Friday. And yes, we're going to be here every Monday through Friday from at noon 30. So, all right. So 12:30. We're going to call it noon 30. All right. Remember, enjoy football tonight. Y'all stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired. And remember, you're capable of doing anything. We'll see y'all tomorrow.